guys, and welcome back to another episode of Bag Boys. As you saw, we got some stuff done on Bertie last week, and in the beginning of the video, I know you saw that the exhaust is being held on by some welding wire. Last weekend and Friday, I went out for a little drive with Bertie and the wife, and things broke that I never had to touch before, which I don't understand. This bucket is just like that. But anyway, the hanger just fell off the exhaust. You can see there, that's where it used to be mounted, and the hanger's on the top there, so that just need to be welded back on. And then out of nowhere, you know, this has never ever happened on one of the cars that I've owned, but on this brake pedal, there is a switch on the top here. So the switch for the brake pedal broke, which means my brake lights were on the whole time that we were driving, and there was no way I could fix it at the time. But like I said, small things that I never thought about working on or fixing before, that's coming up, but I guess it's just part of the process. I don't know if you noticed in the beginning, but I do have to keep the bucket on the idle when I start it up in the morning, and that is because I think I set the tappets a little bit too low. I set it on 0.15, so I'm going to try and take it up to like 0.20 and see if it catches a cold start in the morning. But yeah, that's going to be it for the bucket for now. Small changes. Oh, and I also noticed I never showed you guys properly what we actually did here. So on the Nissan Champ, right, to start here, for some reason only the driver's seat reclines. The passenger seat does not recline. I don't know why, and the mounting points for the seats are different from one side to the other, which means I can't just get another driver's seat and put it there. So I'm only able to access the slot from this seat, which I need to change in future, but this is basically what it is. It's got a little mat in there. Yeah, so like I was saying, I got a light switch in the front there, which you guys saw me switch on earlier, and that's just for some lighting in the back here. Let me just put it on quickly. Alright, so obviously it's daytime, so you can't see much, and then I got a 6x9 in there, and on the other side. So it's a basic setup, quite simple, and it works like a bomb. Like for storage, check here, my laptop bag is here, so definitely well worth it. But anyway, that's what we're going to get into today. Today we're going to be tackling a X-Spin car that the owner now wants to go into race. So he wants to make it a drag car, and he's given me the task of trying to bring it back from its spin history and set the suspension up for drags. So I'm going to be trying my best to get the car to go in a straight line as best possible. I think for now what I'm going to do is just get it pulled inside, and then I'll go over the underneath of the car with you guys and let you know what my plan is. I think it's been about a week since this thing was last started. Let's see. Prime it pumpy. I like the way this gearbox feels. Oh, it feels very, very good. 6-speed Hilux box. Let's see quickly. Prime him again. I didn't hear that click before. It was twice. Let's give him a third prime. Boom. Not a carb car, but I don't know why that works. I'm gonna keep my foot lightly on the pedal and see what it does. Okay, let it prime finish. Foot is not on the pedal at all. I love the way this thing starts. Like the meat and bones of this thing, very nice. Since this car's been here, the only thing I did was adjust the toe angle. Well, why did it look off now? Straight enough, straight as I can get it, but I adjusted the toe angle on the car, and yeah, that was about it. I love the way it starts, I must say. For the spin car vibes, body wise, yeah, okay, questionable, but the meat and bones in the car. Like the engine starts up first time, the gearbox feels amazing. It's got the venture diff with the 4-link in the back. So the meat and bones for a race car is, in my opinion, very close. You know, it's there. There's something to work with. The body, like I said, yeah, obviously it needs like a lot of work with the car's history. I'll try and include some pictures now of what the car used to look like. It's been through a few color changes as well and whatever else, but yeah, like I say, meat and bones, he's there. And this is the first time that I've ever driven a beam swapped rear wheel drive car. So yeah, for me it feels very, very good. I understand the hype, I get it, guys. Beams in a boxy, fucking vibes. You don't need to be the fastest on the road, but this engine in a rear wheel drive setup, it's very good. So I get it, I get it. I think I'm just gonna take it for a drive around here quickly, just to feel one last time what the suspension feels like before we start stripping things apart. And then yeah, we can pull it into the shop and check what else, or check underneath and see where we're gonna start. So let's go for a drive quickly. Oh no, handbrake. And the seat doesn't adjust, so not the most comfortable position, but so already, just by changing the gear, when I put my foot on the clutch, it feels like the front of the car just does its own thing. And when you're turning as well, for me it feels like the car's going and I don't know where it's going to, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's a very weird feeling. The rear feels fine, but the front is what feels very loose, man. Way too loose. Like it feels dangerously loose, you know? So yeah, but I'm gonna go around quickly and see if there's anything else I can pick up. Sure. Very sketchy on the braking also. You brake and it feels like this whole car is gonna go into a wall, and I'm not even going at speed. Throttle feels a bit sticky as well for some reason. I'm getting heads up from truckers here on the side. They love the spin car vibe, and so do we. Fuck, that's boy. Yeah, unfortunately guys, this car feels way too sketchy for me to pilot it with one hand. Oh fuck, is this thing dying? I might run out of fuel. Let me just turn back rather. Contributing to this car basically going in its own direction when you try and steer it. That accompanied by parts that's already old, worn and loose. Hit a small bump, the wheel's already going its own way, and then yeah, it just tends to do it a little bit worse. But let's go back to the shop quickly and just go check this car out. Yeah, the throttle definitely feels sticky. Like it feels very weird when you try and accelerate. Something just doesn't feel right. got the beams on the lift now. As I said to you guys earlier, got our 3SGE dual beams engine, Hilux gearbox, and a Venture diff at the back. So I'm going to be starting off with the rear of this car in this video. As you can see here, there is a 4-link system on already. So just to show you guys, basically it's brackets welded there with arms going towards the body, and there's 2 on this side and 2 on that side. So yeah, the 4-link system is in there. The first thing I did was basically I just put this jack handle here and brought the lift down to see on which angle the wheels are coming up or moving up and down, and just to make sure everything is happy when the car is at drive height. And thus far it looks okay. I'm just going to do a quick time lapse just to show you guys what it looks like. You guys saw the angle that it's moving up in, it's basically sliding back like that when it moves up, which as long as it's not binding, I'm sure that should be okay. The first thing we're going to do on here is basically all of these bushings, right? They all need to be replaced, and you can see there's cracking in most of them. So we're going to obviously be polishing all of those bushings on the car. As you can see, the 2 arms here, they control it in the upwards motion, and then this arm here controls it from moving back and forth. So we're just gonna go ahead and do poly on all of that. And then the spring that was in here was these long springs. I don't know what car it's from, but basically what we want to do is, I think, yeah, I've got a coil overlaying here, so we want to be able to fit a spring like this. And the reason for that is G&A actually sells those springs in any rates that you want. And you're able to interchange them with G&A. So yeah, I want to try and make a perch for this spring to be able to mount in the car at a certain height. It won't be adjustable, but the point is to get the right spring rate in here so that the car can get maximum traction when pulling away, because like I said, it is going to be a drag car. So I'm going to be starting off with that. Basically get our springs put in, get our poly put in, just clean up the rear end a little bit. And then I do also want to see for a shorter shock that I can mount in here. I'm thinking the Nissan Champ rear shocks might work in the back here, and just need to do some testing first. But just so that the travel downwards from the arch downwards is less, so the least possible. So I actually want there only to be upwards travel, and that is also so that when the car is launched, the maximum amount of weight is thrown back onto the tires to get the best traction possible. So yeah, that's what we're starting with in the rear. I am going to be stripping in front as well, because there is a few things that we need to send away for poly. And I'd like to do that now in one go instead of have to go twice for it. So I'll strip it, but we're going to get into the front suspension at a later stage. We're not necessarily going to be speaking about it now. There is a lot more to do here suspension wise than what's at the back. The back is pretty much set up properly. It just needs to be fine tuned. So I'm going to get into just removing the diff and removing the front suspension. Then I'll check in with you guys again. There is some welding that needs to be done on this diff as well, because I see these welds. This one looks alright, but like if you look at this, it looks a bit sketch. So I'd much rather just go over everything again while the diff's off. And while I'm already welding those spring perches in. So yeah, enough chit chat, let's get back to work. So I've got the jack underneath the diff again. I just want to see where the perch for the springs will need to line up to the top, because as you can see here, if I try and get an angle for you, you see it's completely off because the diff wasn't at this height originally. So I'm gonna have to move this perch here in order for it to mount straight up. So I'm just gonna make a line here with what is center for up and down here, and then I'll make a dot on here to show where the center point of the spring perch will be. And yeah, then I'm going to check how the spring sits on here, and we need to then figure out how high the perch needs to be, because like I said, it's going to be a set ride height. So we're going to, whatever wild here, that's going to be set, you know, you can't change the height of the vehicle. So yeah, let me just do that quickly, remove this, put the spring in, and then I'll see how much work needs to be done to get it in here. So I got the coilover spring in here now. On the top here, it looks like I just need to add a little perch to catch the spring, and then I can actually use this piece and just add a center ring to sit inside the spring, and obviously it needs to be brought over. So I did mark off where the new center will be. So I think I'm just going to cut this neatly off here and then slide it over so it sits dead straight underneath here. And yeah, then I'll be able to basically use this same setup that's in here. The height is decent for what the spring is. Obviously the spring is going to be a bit softer, so I do need to accommodate for that a little bit, but we'll see. I'm going to maybe try and add some sort of adjustability in. For the shocks, I was thinking of going smaller shocks, but then it actually occurred to me to maybe try and use straps. So basically it's like a seat belt material that gets bolted to the diff and to the body, so that when the car launches and it comes off of a gear and this tries to lift up, it's limited by the straps, and then make the straps adjustable so that you can actually choose how much lift you want in the rear, and then we can keep the same shock. So just trying to keep it simple, but improve where we can. I think that's going to work for the rear end. And then earlier on I didn't point out that this fuel pump is cable tied, because the old one packed up that was in the bracket there, and then he had to shorten the line, which meant it no longer reached the bracket. But this is not a lift pump, this is like an inline pump, and the point where it connects to the tank is underneath, and that pump's supposed to be gravity fed. So I do think that that pump's going to get starved if we continue using this setup. It actually needs to come low as possible to this bung, and the way that the line was put in here is also a little bit sketchy. Let me go show you the front. There you can see this is the fuel lines that were basically just screwed into the chassis, but it's in the wheel arch. So this is of course very unsafe, and we are going to need to redo this lines probably all the way to the back. So I'll focus on moving that pump to somewhere safe, and then somewhere where it's not going to starve, and probably change the lines out as well. So yeah, let me just continue taking out the diff now that my measurements are done, and get the poly part sent away. So as you guys saw, we got the arms out in the rear end. I'm at Andre's poly as per usual, and yeah, that's gonna be it for today for the car and for episode 1 for the beams. So if you are locked in for this series on the channel, please go ahead and subscribe, and don't forget to like the video. But for now, Bag Boys, we out.